What if the car you're driving right now isn't really the brand you think it is? Imagine paying full price for a Toyota reliability, Toyota engineering, Toyota reputation, only to discover that beneath the badge, it's essentially the same vehicle sold by Suzuki for thousands less. Same platform, same hybrid system, sometimes even built in the same factory. This isn't a conspiracy, it's already happening across Europe. Toyota and Suzuki have quietly entered one of the most strategic partnerships in the auto industry, sharing engines, platforms, and entire vehicles, while marketing them as completely different cars. Hybrid wagons, compact SUVs, city cars you see every day may already be rebadged versions of each other. And here's the real issue: most buyers have no idea. In France and across Europe, people are paying more for brand perception without realizing there may be a cheaper, mechanically identical alternative sitting across the street in another showroom. So in this video, we're breaking it all down. No marketing fluff, no dealership spin. We'll expose the Toyota and Suzuki models that are truly the same cars, compare real-world prices, and explain exactly when paying extra for the Toyota badge makes sense, and when choosing Suzuki is the smarter financial move. If you want to understand how the car industry really works behind the scenes, you're in the right place. Let's get into it. Alright, let's get into it. To understand why certain Toyotas are really Suzukis and why some Suzukis are essentially Toyotas with a different badge, we need to rewind a bit. And this story doesn't begin in France, it begins in India. In India, Suzuki isn't just another automaker. Through Maruti Suzuki, it dominates close to half of the entire car market. That level of control is almost unheard of in Europe. In many cities, Suzukis are everywhere, sometimes outnumbering taxis. Toyota's situation there was very different. Despite its global reputation for durability, Toyota struggled to gain real traction in the Indian market. More importantly, Toyota had no desire to pour massive investments into ultra-cheap small cars at a time when the industry was pivoting toward hybrids, electrification, and higher-margin SUVs. Suzuki faced the opposite challenge. In Europe, tightening emissions rules were becoming a serious threat. Its traditional gasoline engines were no longer enough, and Suzuki lacked the resources to develop advanced hybrid technology on its own. So each company had a problem the other could solve. Toyota needed access to affordable, compact vehicles. Suzuki needed modern hybrid systems to survive in Europe. In 2019, they formalized a strategic partnership. Each company took a small stake in the other, and their engineers got to work. The strategy was straightforward but extremely effective. Share vehicle platforms, share engines, share factories, and then sell the same cars under different brands depending on the market. In India, Toyota began selling Suzuki-based models. In Europe, Suzuki started offering vehicles that were mechanically pure Toyota. And that's how we end up where we are today in France. Cars wearing different badges, built on the same foundations, using the same hybrid systems, sometimes sold at very different prices. Now that the background is clear, let's move to the real-world examples, because this is where the Toyota badge can suddenly become very expensive. Case 1. Suzuki Across versus Toyota RAV4 plug-in hybrid. This is the most striking example. The Suzuki Across is so rare in France that many people don't even know it exists. And yet, it is quite literally a Toyota RAV4 plug-in hybrid wearing a Suzuki logo. Same 2.5-liter engine. Same 306 horsepower plug-in hybrid system. Same battery, same electric all-wheel drive, same platform, same interior layout. Mechanically, the two vehicles are identical. The differences come down to the badge, the grille design, and, most importantly, the price. Officially, the Suzuki Across is listed at around €59,000 fully equipped in France. At the same time, Toyota regularly applies heavy incentives on the RAV4 plug-in hybrid, bringing its price down to roughly €45,000. On paper, that makes the Toyota the cheaper option. But here's where it gets interesting. Through independent car brokers, the Suzuki Across often appears at €41,000 to €42,000. Suddenly, the Suzuki becomes the better deal by a wide margin. Same car, two brands, completely different pricing strategies. So the real choice isn't about engineering, It's about priorities. Do you want Toyota's larger dealer network and slightly stronger resale value, or do you want to save several thousand euros for the exact same vehicle with a Suzuki badge? Either way, there's no other plug-in SUV in this segment offering this level of power and electric range at these prices. This is rebadging taken to the extreme. Case 2. Suzuki Swace versus Toyota Corolla Touring Sports. Now let's look at a case that's even more shocking from a financial point of view. Because here there are no special broker deals, no clever importing tricks, just simple math and a brutal price difference. Suzuki Swace versus Toyota Corolla Touring Sports Hybrid 1.8. These two cars are, for all practical purposes, the same vehicle. Same Toyota hybrid system, same platform, same chassis, same interior layout, trunk space, dashboard, battery design, and driving feel. They even come from the same production ecosystem. Visually, the differences are minimal. A few styling details on the bumpers and, of course, the badge. In France, the Suzuki Swace starts at around 32,700 euros. The Toyota Corolla Touring Sports Hybrid starts closer to 37,900 euros. That's roughly a 5,000 euro gap for the exact same car. Same Toyota hybrid technology, same proven reliability, same long-term durability. And this is where a rational buyer has a moment of clarity. In this pairing, Suzuki is clearly the smarter financial choice. If you're searching for a dependable hybrid wagon for family use or long-distance driving, the Swace is extremely hard to beat on price. A common concern is servicing and warranty. In reality, it's a non-issue. Warranty coverage is comparable, and Toyota dealerships already know this technology inside and out, because it's theirs. So why does Toyota charge more? Because it can. The Corolla name is powerful, globally trusted, and many buyers are willing to pay extra for that image. But when equipment and mechanics are equal, the conclusion is obvious. Sometimes the smartest Toyota you can buy is the one with a Suzuki badge. Bonus example: Mazda 2 Hybrid. And this story doesn't stop with Suzuki. The Mazda 2 Hybrid isn't inspired by the Toyota Yaris. It isn't loosely related. It is a Toyota Yaris Hybrid, built in Toyota's factory, using Toyota's platform, engine, and hybrid system. Mazda simply added its logo and a slightly different front design. So why did Mazda go down this route? The answer is simple: survival in Europe. Mazda needed an ultra-efficient hybrid to meet strict CO2 regulations, and developing one from scratch would have been extremely costly. Toyota already had one of the most efficient city hybrids on the market, fully developed, proven, and ready. So Mazda adopted it. Here's the twist: the Mazda 2 Hybrid starts at around 25,300 euros. The Toyota Yaris Hybrid starts between 23,500 euros and 24,500 euros. Same car, same factory, same Toyota hybrid technology. Yet the rebadged version is more expensive. So why would anyone choose the Mazda? Brand preference, a closer Mazda dealer, or simply not knowing that it's a Yaris underneath? And that reveals something crucial. In today's car market, price often has very little to do with engineering. This leads to a bigger truth. Rebadging is no longer rare, it's a global survival strategy. Emissions rules are tougher, development costs are skyrocketing. Car makers can't afford to work alone anymore, so they partner up, share technology, and sell the same vehicles under different names. For buyers, this creates three major consequences. First, more choice. Cars like the Suzuki Swace, Suzuki Across, or Mazda 2 Hybrid wouldn't exist without these alliances. Second, real savings. If you know what to compare, you can save thousands on an identical vehicle. Third, price no longer reflects technology. Paying more doesn't mean getting more. Before buying any car, remember these rules. Always check if your model has a twin under another brand. Compare official prices and broker offers. Never trust the badge alone. Decide what matters most. Price, dealer network, resale value. Compare equipment carefully. Sometimes the cheaper twin offers more. Final rule: if the dimensions, engine, power, platform, and trunk are the same, you're not choosing between cars, you're choosing between logos. So what's the real takeaway here? Toyota and Suzuki are far more intertwined than most buyers realize. In many cases, you're choosing between the same car with different badges and very different prices. Same engine, same hybrid tech, sometimes even the same factory. Don't pay for the logo, pay for the value.